Wanna be Ryan the Great, and today we are talking Eagles football, baby. Let's go. We are back. This is my first video in like a few days. I actually think it is my first video in a few days. I'm not sure how long ago I did like an actual talking video. I've done a few streams. Yeah, 3 days we've done a video. I've done streams. I've done whatchamacallit. I did a live reaction to the Maryland versus Penn State, and I did a live reaction to the Cowboys versus Packers game. So if you were there for that, thank you for pulling up. I'll talk about later in the video what I'm going to be doing tonight for streaming, so we'll talk about that. But we're just going to get right into talking about the Eagles. But before we get right into that, guys, make sure you subscribe with your post notifications on. Go subscribe to my brother, Lee and the Great Vlogs. Also, make sure you follow me on Twitch at Ryan the Great Podcast. And without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's get right into it. So, starting off, obviously, with the Eagles, my man, Jalen Hurts. He just needs to be that same MVP candidate, efficient, dominant, complete your passes, run the ball well, but don't run it too much. We don't want to get injured here. Thank God Chase Young is not back this week. I'm very glad about that. Jalen Hurts, he is probably second in my MVP's votings right now, completing 68% of his passes, but only one fumble this year, not throwing too many interceptions, throwing for touchdowns, running for touchdowns, an efficient quarterback rating, a lot of yards. Jalen Hurts is the man right now. He's got his Eagles at 8-0. I'm loving what I'm seeing from Jalen Hurts right now. So if Washington stacks the box against Miles Sanders, the Eagles can easily let it fly, but if they don't and decide to defend the pass a lot more, Sanders has been averaging 80 yards per game, so he'll dominate if the Washington Commanders focus on the Batmen and Dallas Goedert. Now, speaking of the Batmen, let me tell you what the Batman could do tonight. Swole Batman. He has dominated everyone who's coming his way with his power, with his speed, with his high vertical. A.J. Brown is that dude. We know it. He's a top 10 receiver in the NFL, and no doubt about it right now. I expect him to show out tonight. Dallas Goedert beat up on a very good Texans secondary. He had a 100-yard game and a touchdown. We all know what Dallas Goedert can do, proving he is a top five tight end in the NFL right now. Let's go, baby. We already know. Skinny Batman only had 30 yards per game in the last few, but in the last game against Washington, he did have a career high in yards and in catches. So maybe we can get a little bit of Devontae Smith tonight. We got Fast Batman. He did not have a good game against Washington the last time, and frankly has not had good games against really anybody. Has not been targeted as much, though I'm a little sad that Watkins has not gotten the ball. But in the last game against Washington, he was able to draw 2 pass interference calls, so maybe he can help us there, bailing us out on third downs if we need it, third and longs, you never know. I do love Quez Watkins, and I think he can be a great, a capable receiver. I said great, but he can be a capable receiver, and I think that he should get the ball just a little bit more, you know what I mean? Washington's secondary, though, is one of the highest. They're giving up one of the highest receiver rates in the NFL. I think it's 99.9 if I'm not mistaken. So we got to use that to our advantage. Run explosive plays with A.J. Brown. We know what he can do. We know what Smith can do. We know what Goddard can do, especially on his corner routes and his ability to help Hurts when he has to extend plays. The offensive line, you need to be on your A game today because the Washington defensive line is one of the best pass rush teams in the NFL right now. So let's be on our A game. The offensive line has given up too many sacks. They've given up They've given up 3 sacks 5 times this year. So can't continue that. We got to make sure Hurts has protection in the pocket. But Hurts has been able to get the ball off really quickly this year, and I'm liking that. I don't know if the Washington will be too effective this week. The Eagles might run some RPO. Eagles might run a lot of RPO this week, so I think that they could use that to their advantage. Anyway, my defense should dominate tonight. Since Carson Wentz didn't have the guts to show up today, Taylor Heineke gets the amazing opportunity to deal with the Eagles' defensive line, or as my grandfather and I like to call it, the Mighty Eagle line. Eagles defense last time had 9 sacks against the Washington Commanders. They absolutely dominated. I'm pretty sure 4 of those sacks came in the first quarter. I was watching the game with Chisel. We were thinking that the Eagles were going to break the damn sack record. You know what I'm saying? And now with Hargrave coming out of his shell, he had 3 sacks last week against the Texans. I think that the Taylor Heineke is in for a disaster tonight. He's going to be singing the turf, so he might as well do some meditation on the turf. No reason to bring out your mat tonight, brother. You're going to be having fun with the turf tonight. That sounds really weird, but whatever. Moving on. Yada, yada, yada. So, yeah, the Washington offensive line is going to have a tough task this week of defending this Eagles pass rush. Linebackers, I'm really looking at Hassan Reddick because he is the pass rushing linebacker for the Eagles. He's been playing great this year. There was a time where he was tied for the most amount of sacks in the NFL. I'm loving what Hassan Reddick's been doing, and I love Hassan Reddick. I want that mother's jersey. I just love Hassan Reddick. It's absolutely incredible. No, I'm still loving what my man T.J. Edwards is doing. I love T.J. Edwards. He's ninth. He's tied for ninth in tackles this year. I love him what T.J. Edwards is doing. Keep it up, my brother. The secondary, they're not in so much trouble this week with Avonte Maddox coming out because the Eagles do have that pass rush advantage. But it is a real damn shame that Avonte Maddox is now on IR. He has been an X factor for the Eagles secondary this year. Has been playing really great, a lot better than recent years, and it's a shame that he's gotten injured this year, but it's okay. I love Hosea Scott. Well, not love, but I do like Hosea Scott, and I think he can be a very capable nickel in the NFL. I really like Hosea Scott. A lot of people were criticizing him the last time when he played against Jacksonville, but I thought he did a pretty good job. I don't know, maybe that's just me. Yada yada yada. So I think maybe Washington will play their receivers in the flats just a little bit more. I'm looking at big play Slay, though. Slay, he's given up the lowest quarterback rating in the NFL right now. He is, if that really made sense. I'm not sure if that made sense, but you guys understand what I mean. He is probably the best lockdown corner in the NFL. I have not seen quarterbacks go to him at all. Last week against the Texans, I didn't see a ball thrown his way. That's just how locked down he is, and he can intercept the ball whenever. He reads the quarterback's eyes like no else. There's nothing much better I can say about big play Slay. Yada, yada, yada. Whatchamacallit. James Bradbury, he is absolutely incredible. He's able to get the deflect passes. He might not be an interception master, but he is another lockdown corner and two corners on the end. I think it's complete lockdown. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. The Eagles, Slay and Bradbury, they're not the two best corners in the NFL, but together as a duo, they are the best in the NFL, and I don't want to hear about it because the Eagles secondary is the best in the NFL right now. They're the most interceptions. The quarterback rating against them is always really low. The Eagles secondary is probably the best in the NFL right now, and I don't want to hear anything otherwise about it. So yeah, once again, the secondary I don't think will miss too much because the Eagles are first in interceptions and low completion rating for quarterbacks. So yeah, I don't think they'll miss Maddox too much this week. Bottom line, Washington, they have to play pick your poison. Either they're going to have to defend the run or they're going to have to defend the pass. Just like most teams, but whatever poison they pick, they'll really suffer from the other one. So, yeah, so make them do that. And on defense, just sack Taylor Heineke. I don't expect him to get the ball off too much. So I'm looking for a big game from my Eagles defensive line. It's a shame Jordan Davis is not playing today because I think that he could have proved to me why he is that guy that can, be a guy who can get sacks. And I know he's good stopping the run, but sacking-wise, he's got to prove it to me. Now we'll move on to Washington. Just a little bit about Washington here. Taylor Heineke has to get the ball off really quickly, especially with this terrible offensive line and the Eagles' pass rush. The run game, though, might be effective because the Eagles haven't played the run game at all. They gave up over 130 yards last week, so that might be a problem for the Eagles. But once again, your offensive line, how well can you run block for Antonio Gibson or Brian Robinson Jr.? So yeah, so it might be good, it might be bad. We got to see how it is. Washington's advantage. It might be Washington's advantage, but oh no, the Eagles are done. Hey, they're still 8-0. I don't know how effective McLaurin and Samuel will be this week, especially with the Eagles' pass rush, making it very difficult for Taylor Heineke to get the ball off to them. So if you can get them involved as much as you can, great. If you can't, well, all right. But hey, you do have Dotson back, which is great. I'm so upset that he went to an NFC East team. I love Jonathan Dotson. I just don't want him on the Commanders, obviously, because I just love him. I just love Jonathan Dotson, especially what he did for Penn State. He was amazing. Defense, once again, you either need to play the pass or run, pick your poison. And you just got to hope the other one is not, on a day game tonight. So if you play the run, hope Hurts doesn't have his most effective night. If you play the pass, then you got to hope that Sanders is not as off his A game, as well as the offensive line. So the bottom line for the Washington Commanders, offense has got to avoid the pass rush, maybe get Heineke out of the pocket as much as possible. And the defense, you just got to play pick your poison. So tonight, I just want to talk about my stream. So I will be streaming tonight. I will be streaming the Eagles versus Commanders. So at around 8:15, a few minutes before the game starts. So make sure you stay, or maybe 8:10 or 8:15, something like that. 5 minutes before the game starts, whenever. I'll be streaming the game. I'll do live commentary, talk about it a little bit in the chat. It'll be nice. We'll have a lot of fun tonight. So make sure you guys pull up to the stream. My final score predictions, I have the Commanders at 9, the Eagles 31. I have the Eagles going 9-0. This Commanders team, I just don't think is worthy of taking down the Philadelphia Eagles tonight on Monday Night Football. And the Eagles, we're on prime time again, baby. Let's show up and show out. All right. I got the Schmitty jersey on because the last time he played Washington, he absolutely dominated against them. So I hope he can do the same this week, because I really want to see some more Devontae Smith involved. Anyway, guys, that's going to do it for this video. Make sure you subscribe with your post notifications on. Go subscribe to my brother, Lee the Great Blogs. Also, make sure you follow me on Twitch at Ryan the Great Podcast. And as always, Ryan the Great... Oh, my God. Terrible voice crack. Ryan the Great out. Peace.